Hey YouTube, this is the Dutch Sandwich. I wanted to do a face-off between two popular DACs, the Audioquest Dragonfly 1.0 and the Audioengine D1. I got 5 different categories that I'm going to kind of go through a quick rundown of the score and then why I decided to give it the score that I did. So I've had both of these DACs now for about 2 years, and so I feel like I've got a good sense of their strengths and if any weaknesses. The Dragonfly 1.0, when I bought it, was $250. Now you can find it for $150, and I believe they have a 1.2 version or 1.1, a newer one that's got some small improvements. So, and then the Audioengine D1 is $169 retail, and obviously you can find both of them used for, I think eBay has the 1.0 for about $75, and you can probably pick up the D1 for about $100 used on eBay. So first category is style. I ended up going with a 10 on the Dragonfly. I'm going to cut to a quick video of it in action. It does have this light that changes color as you change the sample rate, so we're going to cut to that. Here I have the Dragonfly plugged into my MacBook. I have the Audio MIDI program running on my MacBook right now, and as you can see, I've got the 44.1 kilohertz sample frequency set, and it's green. The Audioquest right down there. The Dragonfly glows green, and if I were to change it to 48, then it turns to blue. 88 orange, and 96 is like a pink. It's very interesting. So a really neat feature. It's got a really cool matte finish on it. It's kind of rough, almost like, I don't even know, almost like those kind of new high-end paint jobs you see. Just really well built for USB style DAC, or USB stick style DAC. I would say this is probably the best one I've ever seen before, or just feels really high quality. The D1 I gave a 9. Again, it's really up there, especially for the price range that we're talking about with these two pieces of equipment. It's just not quite, I think, as stylish and as well thought out as the Dragonfly. I mean, this thing is great. It's got an actual power button, which embarrassingly I didn't know that you could actually push this when it's plugged in with the USB power, and it also can get the signal from the USB power. It will light up white, and you can actually push that power button and it'll turn it off, which I think it took me a couple months to even figure that out. But yeah, I mean, it's got great curved edges here, simple Allen key bolts here on the front. I like the kind of simple, just almost, it's like not a brush metal, but kind of like an anodized metal. So yeah, definitely a 9, but the Audioquest beats it out by a little bit. Next category, versatility. Now they both kind of do similar things. The Dragonfly obviously has just one input and one output here, a 3.5, which you can plug in a pair of headphones, or you can take a 3.5 to an RCA cable and plug it into a stereo. The downside though with the Audioquest is then you would have to go into your computer or whatever device you're plugging this into and adjust the volume. So if you know that going into it, it may not be an issue, but that's where this Audioengine D1 really shines. You can feed it either an optical input or a USB input. So I've actually had this hooked up between a power amp and my Apple TV. So I took the optical out of my Apple TV, plugged it into here, and then just plugged a USB cable into my 120 volt outlet for power, and then ran these to my amplifier in my small bedroom system, and this was my preamp. It was actually really cool, super compact and incredibly versatile. And if you don't mind the size, obviously you could potentially use this in the same situations that you use this. You could use the USB input with your laptop, even if you're traveling. Obviously it's more bulky, but there's just a lot of different options you can use with this, and it's just super convenient. I'm going to cut to a video of me using this in my desktop setup with a pair of Atom F5 speakers. So here we go. So if you're listening to music in a desktop situation like this is your preamp. I've got a pair of Sennheiser HD 600s over there. You simply just take them, plug them in, plug this in, the speakers go silent, and they're playing through the HD 600s. Very, very cool. Okay, next category, sound quality. Now I've tried both of these with all three of my headphones. I own the Noontech Zoros, I own the NAD HP 50s, which are closed back, and I've also tried them both with my Sennheiser HD 600s, and I really can't tell a difference between the two. Obviously they both sound great and sound way better than what you're getting out of the stock headphone jack on either my computers, my desktop, which is a Lenovo, or my laptop, which is a MacBook. But between the two, going back and forth, I've owned them now for 2 years. I can't tell a difference. That's not to say you can't, but I've really tried and I haven't been able to. So just keep that in mind. Next, build quality. I gave them both an 8. I mean, for the price, they're incredibly, incredibly well built. This knob is a little bit rough, and I think it might have been because it's been touched, or maybe I, touched it too hard, and now it has changed a little bit the way that it feels. But I mean, very, very little other than that. I mean, it's really, really nice. This, I mean, built amazingly well. One thing, you probably won't be able to pick up on it, but it has a little bit of play between the metal and the plastic. And I'm not sure if that's from the weight of it being in my USB input on my computer, and this pulling down on it and kind of creating a little bit of play. One thing you might be able to do to alleviate that is get the Audioquest Dragontail, which is a little USB extender that would let this sit on your desktop and maybe take some of the pressure off of that junction. I don't think it's anything to worry about, but it's just something that I wanted to make a note of. Okay, moving on. Value. Now they're both pretty close in price, but I ended up giving a 10 to the D1 and an 8 to the Dragonfly, just because of the different things you're able to do with the D1. I just felt its versatility and all the other things, when you factor into it, there's so many more things you can do with it, and it's just so convenient to have the volume knob and the different inputs. I just thought that it was a better value for all you're getting compared to the Dragonfly. So tallying them all up, the Audioquest Dragonfly got a 42 and the D1 got a 46. So obviously really close. I've obviously found the need to continue to own both. If you're only going to buy one, the breaker might be if you travel more, you may end up going with the Audioquest, or if you're kind of at your own desk more and you don't travel much, maybe you can get this one, or if you can swing both, go ahead and get both. So that is my shootout between these two DACs. If you have any questions, please put them below, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.